Hello, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the WeSportin Podcast. I'm here with Dylan. Dylan, you want to maybe introduce yourself a little bit?
Hi, I'm Dylan. As you can tell, maybe I'm a really big Titans fan.
Mhm.
I don't think we're gonna have a single person on this podcast, at least that I know, that's the same fan of the same fan base. At least right now,
No, not at
all
all.
diverse.
Yeah, it's very. I think it's good to have it diverse, though. I think it's good to have it diverse.
You don't want a single bias,
Yeah, no, not at
like
all.
like a big Washington football podcast.
Yeah, literally, who would do such a thing?
You'd have like a good three co-hosts.
Yeah, like in the world, or
Yeah,
all right. Let's get through the main topic, though, everyone. Free agency. Now, Dylan and I, we discuss this a lot. Like, oh, we want our teams to sign this. We want our teams to sign that. We're not going to get that. We know we can't get those things because our teams don't have money. So,
okay.
well, I am a football team supporter. Everyone, my team
You
has.
guys have money.
We have the fifth highest cap this offseason.
You guys aren't as good as Jacksonville.
Oh yeah, man, Jacksonville's tanking skills, guys. I wish we knew how to tank as well as they do. Okay, so guys, we're gonna go through the guys that are in free agency right now. We're gonna discuss big names, little names. We're gonna basically just get through most of it, and not most of it, but we're just gonna openly discuss who we think should go where. The first one that I believe that caught my eye a lot, and I cannot believe he hasn't even been re-signed by the team, is Allen Robinson.
I don't think he wants to.
You don't think he wants to re-sign with Chicago?
God, no. You're one of the most talented wide receivers in the league, if we're being honest, right? Probably one of the most talented wide receivers in the league. You don't want to re-sign with a team where you have Mitchell Trubisky or Nick Foles throwing you the ball.
Yeah,
You know how much money that dude would give up to go play with like Mahomes or Rodgers?
Oh, a lot of money. I mean, 100%. I mean, we're looking at a guy who's been outstanding his whole career with bad quarterbacks. He's put up 1,000-yard seasons
with
with
Jacksonville and
Blake,
Chicago.
Blake Bortles and Trubisky. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but like, poor guy. I mean, I feel bad for him sometimes. I really do, genuinely. And I think the best place for Allen Robinson to head to, just me saying openly, maybe he'll sign with the Baltimore Ravens. I could see the Baltimore Ravens making a big push for him in the offseason. They need the talent and wide receiver. I mean,
Yeah, they do.
Marcus.
I don't know. I mean, even then, I don't know if I mean, Lamar's a good quarterback, but Lamar's not a pocket passer.
No, obviously not.
And I don't think Lamar can really support a 1,000, like a really good wide receiver, like not like a Devontae Adams like type production. I think he can have a very productive tight end, but he just doesn't have that accurate of a ball, and I don't think he will really feed somebody enough to put up like crazy numbers like Adams and Hopkins and.
Yeah, no, understandable. But I mean, disregarding that, Lamar's an MVP. That is one thing that we cannot.
Yeah.
It's one thing we can't stress is that Lamar is an MVP. So we're not going to take that away from the type of quarterback that he is. Even if he runs the ball more than passes, he still gets passes off. He keeps his turnover ratio below 10. This whole year, he actually didn't throw for over 10 interceptions this year, which I think that's pretty good for a MVP.
But he also barely threw over 3,000 yards. So it's a little.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically.
But he did rush for 1,000, so it's.
Yeah, you're basically tossing up Lamar Jackson's type of playerness into the air for how good of a running quarterback that he is and a passing quarterback. So I mean, that's one thing that you need to.
I think I don't know if okay, you'd have to have a very specific system to work with Lamar, because you cannot put him in a system and be like, okay, you have to throw 40 times. We saw what he did against Tennessee in the divisional round. He threw 40-something times. Mm-hmm. Sure, he had 300-something or 500 total yards of offense, but had one touchdown. He's just not a good pocket passing quarterback.
No, not at all. So, I mean, Allen Robinson's a stretch. Dylan, where could you say Allen Robinson can head to?
I think the best fit for him, which would be interesting, I don't think they'll go after him, but I think it'd be a good fit for him. Mm-hmm. I think he'd be an interesting fit for the Patriots. They have some money. They could sign him and then draft a quarterback. Mm-hmm. I think they really could. Or if they want to go crazy, they could try to get Dak. I don't know if they have the money to sign Dak and Allen Robinson.
That's gonna be That's actually a good assumption actually, because we know how New England is with their cap. New England, I think most of their cap is actually on the offensive line. With,
yeah,
Shaq Mason.
Which, by the way, probably one of their best offensive linemen, Joe Thuney, is a free agent this year.
Yes, he is. I'm actually looking at him right now. He's a restricted free agent as we speak. So we're gonna move on from Allen Robinson. So you say New England, I say a Baltimore. So we'll put that up there for people for the viewers to decide. Now next, I'm looking at the list right here, and actually this one I'm only bringing his name up is just because he's more of a quiet guy, not quiet, but he underperformed this year. So I want to see where teams look at him. Kenyon Drake.
Ooh, that'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's that good of a running. I think he's like capable.
Mm-hmm.
He's not like a Henry Cook or Kamara type running back.
Absolutely not.
But listen, here's the simple fact, and this is the fact about the NFL at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you build an offensive line, you can make a average running back look a Pro Bowler.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You've seen what happens when Zeke's offensive line crumbles. He's been awful this year.
Very true.
Okay? If you get a decent offensive line or above average offensive line and put him behind it, he's going to have a good year.
Mm-hmm.
Not 2,000 yards.
No.
But he can have – I saw I don't remember who said it, but it was like – so if you have an average running back and you have a good offensive line,
mm-hmm.
that average running back is going to get your offensive line in every play about 7-ish yards because the offensive line is going to get you 5. He can get you an extra 2. Mm-hmm. Then you have the phenomenal running backs like the Cook, Henrys, and Camaros who will take a 5-yard gain and take it to a 40.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just want a normal, established run game to set up play action and passing games, Kenyon Drake will work. You just have to have an all-right offensive line.
I can agree with you on that. One thing I can say about Kenyon Drake, though, is that he was very overvalued this year. I remember me and Dylan were in a fantasy football league this year, and when we were drafting, we saw Kenyon Drake in the top 10. I don't know if you remember that. He was a top 10 draft pick.
Yeah.
He was touchdown reliable. He could not.
Well, most running backs are, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, but we're looking like guys like Zeke. And Zeke before Dak got hurt and everyone else. Yeah. We saw he was good. We saw Henry, who was good all year. And
had some rough games, but yeah.
I mean, his worst game this year was week 16 against Green Bay, wasn't it? With like 97.
No, against Chicago.
How many yards did he have? Like 60 something.
He had like 60 something, but he didn't have a touchdown, so he had like 6 points.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say here, guys, is that last year Kenyon Drake was a big name guy. I think I remember at the end of the season, Kenyon Drake was that guy that everyone was like, "Wow, he's going to be great next season." And then he comes in here and plays.
Because I think they expected him to kind of have a David Johnson type year.
Mm-hmm.
When David Johnson was actually good and not in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
David Johnson finished the year strong. We're not going to get onto that, but go ahead.
Of course, yeah. I'm going to say, for my prediction, I say he stays in the division. I say he goes to, but I think he's going to wind up somewhere else. I say he goes to San Francisco.
That's interesting. I don't know if he'll go to San Francisco because I think they really like their running backs.
You have to look at the Mostert's 31. Telvin Coleman is 30, turning 30 this year. I mean, they're aging.
Yeah, but that offense never really had. In the past couple of years, they've never had like a big name running back. They've always just been good running the ball.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. I mean, we've saw guys like Jeff Wilson Jr. go
Richie James. They make average running backs and make them look like Pro Bowlers.
Like Raheem Mostert. I believe,
exactly.
I'm speaking, I think, for everyone. No one knew who Raheem Mostert was last season.
Mm-hmm.
No one. And then you saw Mostert put up like 200 on Green Bay in the championship. Mostert's all like a big name guy now. But yeah. I can see Kenyon Drake going to San Fran.
Kenyon Drake, there's a couple places I think, it really depends on how this offseason goes, though. Really, if you think about any team, I mean, I don't think Patriots would, but that's two straight Patriots. I think they could.
Mm-hmm. Stacked with running backs, so you have to remember they have Sony Michel, Rex Burkhead. I mean,
yeah, you're right. I don't know, just a lot of people. I think any team could sign Kenyon Drake for a certain use, because I don't think he's a star running back. He's not this big. It's not like Henry, right?
He's more of like a Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders is better than him.
How can we compare him though to make everyone kind of? He's kind of like right now on a Todd Gurley level. People expected a lot, but then they got that.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Todd Gurley. How long did they sign Todd Gurley to? Was it 3 years? 1 year?
I think it was just a year.
If it was just a year, Falcons could seriously sign Kenyon Drake.
I can see Falcons going Kenyon Drake, actually. I can see that a lot. I think that's a very realistic opportunity for him to go there.
That'd actually be a really good pick for them.
Very true. All right, so moving on. One big free agent that I'm looking at right now, guys, and I cannot believe that they haven't re-signed him, and I don't know if they have, but correct me if I'm wrong. Justin Simmons, free safety on the Broncos.
God, the Broncos make stupid free agency decisions. Because they have a couple big name free agents this year.
Yes, they do. They have Von Miller.
Don't they have Kareem? Is Kareem Jackson still on their team? Is he on their team? Or is he on a different team?
He's on Houston now, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's on Houston.
Okay.
So I mean, I could see him going. Justin Simmons. That's his name, right? Yeah, Justin.
Yeah,
Simmons. Yeah. Everyone knows Justin Simmons he's a good free safety.
He's a phenomenal free safety.
Yeah, that's a safety you do not let walk away. Knowing the Broncos, but the good thing about the Broncos though is that John Elway's not there anymore. No. He's not there anymore. So I think that team is gonna be the dark horse for me to win free agency without John Elway being there, because that team is not a bad team offensively. You got, Drew Lock, Melvin Gordon.
We'll see how Drew Lock goes into his next year.
Yeah, and actually, I think that's gonna. A little side question: do you think that the Broncos draft quarterback this year?
What pick do they have?
I believe they have the 12th. I could be wrong.
I don't know. At that pick, there's going to be a couple developmental quarterbacks you could go after.
Trey Lance.
Yeah, but I think really every quarterback other than Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence are more developmental than ready to play.
Mm-hmm.
Even I think Justin Fields you could probably sit him for a year and still be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they would, but like Trevor, we all know is enough already.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be interesting. I don't know, but we also don't know for a fact if Locke is the answer. I've watched Broncos games. I really don't think he is. But, I mean, you're giving a quarterback a year and a half and saying, prove that you're great. I don't.
That is true. So where could you see free safety Justin Simmons heading to this summer?
If he does not go to Denver?
Yes, if he doesn't sign back with Denver.
There's some interesting teams that go after him. I'm trying to think of, like, teams that are really needy at safety.
Well, I mean, let's look at teams with bad secondaries. I could see him going to the Lions. Free safety.
Dallas,
yeah.
Their secondary is bad. Is he a free safety? Or he's a free safety, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I was going to say Seattle, but didn't Quandre Diggs, isn't he a free safety?
Yeah, Quandre Diggs, which is why I'm kind of saying let's have the Lions sign him. The Lions could use that after losing Quandre. And then
they could.
When you have a veteran guy like Justin Simmons there with Jeff Okudah.
I still think Jeff Okudah is going to be a good corner. He had a really bad rookie year, but all corners usually take a while to do.
Not Jalen Ramsey.
Well, Ramsey's the best corner in the league, but yeah, he developed really quick. But look at Gilmore. Gilmore won Defensive Player of the Year in his, age 31 season?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No, I think Dallas would be a good sign if they have the money for him.
Yeah, I'm going to say Lions. You're going to go Dallas. I mean, we're not going to really agree. Now, let me ask you this. Yannick Ngakoue, defensive end on Baltimore.
Yeah, he's bounced around. He's bounced around a lot this year. He's in Jacksonville.
He is not a bad player. Not a bad right end. He is a pass rusher like no tomorrow. But I think now when he goes into the market, do you see Baltimore signing him back?
I think Baltimore could definitely use him. Baltimore is going to have some interesting cap issues coming up soon. They don't really have any on offense. They're going to have to start paying linemen soon. Mm-hmm. For example, did Orlando Brown get paid yet? He did?
It was him or the other guy got paid already?
I think Ronnie Stanley got paid. I don't think Orlando did. Orlando's going to get a lot of money. Orlando's a good right tackle.
Oh, yeah. No, he's probably top 5.
Lamar hasn't got his big contract yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then defensively, look at Marlon Humphrey, and then I'm blanking on the other guy. Who's the other guy? The other corner?
Who's the other corner? I'm sorry?
Marlon Humphrey and who else?
Marlon Humphrey and Jimmy.
No, not Jimmy Smith.
Peters.
Marcus Peters. Thank you. Sorry. Marcus Peters. And all of them, they're going to have to start paying defense soon, because the issue is that Baltimore is going to have to somehow manage to pay Lamar, who's already had an MVP year, right? So that bumps how much you're going to have to pay him. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to get him weapons as well. Keep a good offensive line to keep him somewhat protected. So if you need to throw the ball, he's not under a ton of pressure.
Yeah,
and then you're also going to need to keep a somewhat top 15, top 10 defense.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
Let's look at this, though. I mean, Lamar, he has an MVP. He broke Michael Vick's rushing record.
Yeah. 2 straight 1,000-yard rushing seasons.
But he doesn't have a playoff one.
He's still going to get a lot of money.
But do you pay him like Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson?
Well, Dak Prescott doesn't get a lot of money, but
Well, yeah, but are you gonna pay him that kind of money?
they're going to.
You think so?
I don't think he'll be the highest paid, but I won't be surprised if he gets second.
Yeah, in front of Watson, who's only getting paid like what, $39 a year?
I mean, 39 a year is a lot.
Well, no, I know. Yeah, okay, so let's say, so Yannick Ngakoue.
That'll be interesting. I think Baltimore, again, could definitely use to re-sign him.
I see they let Calais Campbell walk. They don't.
Well, he may retire after this year. Of course, I want to say the Titans, but he doesn't fit in our defensive scheme, so I'm not going to say the Titans.
Mm.
I think Seattle would be interesting.
They don't have the money on defense. They're paying Bobby Wagner and Jamal.
Oh, yeah, they just paid Jamal a ton of money, didn't they?
Yep.
Never mind, they don't have money. I mean, if Seattle could clear money, but I don't think they can.
I would say the Houston Texans. Get them lined up with a veteran guy like J.J. Watt. And
yeah, that'll be interesting. If JJ's still there next year, though.
Yeah, let them kind of be like a J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney scenario, but with Yannick Ngakoue, who's more versatile than Clowney.
But I think what'll be interesting is if number one, if JJ's even there,
mm-hmm.
And of course we've all heard about the talks about Watson leaving.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So the question is do you want to pay, what is he, 28, Ngakoue? Is he 28?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to pay a edge rusher in his prime to just sit there and waste his talent when you're rebuilding?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, it just depends on him. He's young, so he's gonna want the money for, certain scenarios. He's gonna want money. Now, is he gonna want to win? Maybe.
I think every player wants to win, but
yeah, that is true. Okay, so next player we're gonna move on to is there's a lot of names we can talk about here. Here's an interesting one. Sack leader from last season, Shaquille Barrett, is a free agent.
Ooh, that'll be interesting. I think that'll be really interesting where he goes.
Does Tampa sign him back? That's the question.
Does Tampa have the money?
On the defensive side, I don't know, because now they gotta do because a bunch. I'm gonna say this: Tampa's defense this year went from a bunch of no names to now all of these guys who the league knows now, like Jamal Dean, or I think it's like Murphy. I don't know what his name is, but Murphy, Antonio Weinfeld.
Antoine Winfield.
Antoine Winfield. He's been very good. You have Devin White, Levante David, and you have Shaquille Barrett, your D line. I say you let Levante walk, you sign Shaquille back, and remaining money spend it on the D line. Because Vita Vea is now out for the whole season. Shaquille Barrett, like I said, you take away Levante David's contract because he's on a big contract with them right now on the defensive side. He's been there for many years. So you take him out and you throw in someone like, you keep Barrett, you keep Devin White, you keep that core. Because you lose that core of linebackers, you're screwed. So I'm saying maybe I'm gonna say he signs back with Tampa.
I'm just looking at the cap space situation for Tampa. I mean, I could see Tampa. I mean, Patriots. They need some pass rush help.
Mm-hmm. True.
I really wouldn't be surprised about Patriots. Bengals just lost Dunlap. They could use pass rush help. Buccaneers have $30 million in cap room. So if they really want to re-sign Shaquille Barrett, go do it.
You have to look at those. So now
Chargers,
when they
a lot of
sign
teams
back though, it's gonna have to be like $6-7 million a year.
Yeah.
They can't go all in and be like, yeah, let's sign you to 10, 12 years. Like they need to make sure that he stays for under 10, but signs for longer, but stays for less.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna have to kind of be.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Okay. So you can see him going to those teams, you said?
Yeah, I can see it. There's a lot of teams that could use him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's do like 3 more teams. We'll do 3 more people. What about Todd Gurley? Todd Gurley is a free agent.
I don't know. I don't think he's that good anymore.
You say he just stays on free agency?
No, somebody will sign him. Somebody who really needs some sort of either, he's not going to be a star like he was in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I mean, could he be a serviceable starter and very good wide running back too? Kind of like a Tampa situation where they have Ronald Jones and Fournette.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking at teams that I think could use him.
A fit that I could see him kind of going to.
I guess there's Arizona. They could use him if they don't re-sign Kenyon Drake.
Yeah, and one thing I'm just, and I can't believe I'm going to say is, I say the Jets. Now they're going to draft.
They have the money.
Yeah, they're going to draft a guy like Fields, or they're going to go Penei Sewell, depending on who they want. But I say personally, they go and sign Todd Gurley, get a veteran running back. You're going to have Sam Darnold, put an offensive line around Sam Darnold, and give him weapons. So I say,
I think
if he's going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. I mean, the Jets. I mean, the Jets are up there. They wouldn't have to sign him. I mean, the Falcons got him for next to nothing anyway. Mm-hmm. They didn't really have a good year, so I'm gonna have to pay him a lot. Mm-hmm. Sounds like a 2-year deal. Just let Darnold kind of develop and have someone to lean on a little bit. Because Gurley isn't garbage.
Yeah, have a reliable running back.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say he's fully reliable because he's injury prone, but
he had over 1,000 yards.
Somewhat reliable. What do you say?
He had over 1,000 yards.
This year?
Yes. And over 9 times.
No, I just say, didn't he get injured a couple times this year, though?
Yeah, a couple times he did.
Because he has the knee issues, I mean, of course.
So where could you see him going to?
I could see the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Jets are high up there for him. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah, true. All right, we'll do 2 more people for you guys. We're gonna list out 2 more people. We've gone through a lot, so we'll throw in 2 more people extra. Let me look. I'm just looking at the free agency guys. I see 2 interesting. Well, I see 1 interesting name and one we're gonna have to talk about because he's the top free agency on there. What about Patrick Peterson?
A good team. I've been thinking about this. I think a good team who has money who could really use secondary help is Indianapolis.
I could see that.
They have the 3rd most cap room in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Not any really big name free agents. They just draft a quarterback this year, sign Patrick Peterson, try to make a Super Bowl run. Or you have the money if you really want to just get a quarterback that's ready right now. Get Patrick Peterson for cheap and try to get Dak Prescott if he doesn't go to Cowboys.
Yep, and that's exactly what I was gonna say too. Bringing on in right now, Dak Prescott. Now, Dak. Here's the thing: Dak got hurt this year. Is Dak gonna want the same money that he wants?
It'll be interesting because he was putting up crazy numbers before he got hurt. I mean, it was phenomenal numbers.
He was an MVP candidate.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the thing about Dak, and I think it's this thing about quarterbacks, is a top tier quarterback. I mean, he's probably top 15. I don't know if I'd say he's like top 5, but he's top 15. Mm-hmm. So many teams could use him. Oh, yeah. Jacksonville, New York Jets, Indianapolis Colts, like I just said, the Patriots, Washington, who has a lot of money.
I don't think he'll switch rivals though. I think if he's gonna leave, he's gonna leave the division.
I think he will too, but I'm saying if you guys offer him enough money, he may be like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, Dak Prescott has been. It's gonna be interesting because he hasn't really spoke much on free agency. He hasn't spoken much on how he feels since last season, only because he's been injured, so he hasn't really had much to speak on.
Yeah,
but he's had a lot of he's spoken a lot about certain things and. He's discussed a lot. And
so, go ahead.
I'm just saying that we have not heard much from Dak. So whatever happens, it will be a shock to all of us.
Yeah. So before you do in this episode, we do got to talk about something real quick. Okay. Have you seen the Philadelphia Eagles or New Orleans Saints cap situation?
Yes, actually, that's a good point to bring back up. The Saints are in over $100 million in luxury tax.
Yes, let me explain. So basically, so here's how it goes, right? I'm not going to go through all of them, but so the Falcons are the 3rd worst team over the cap, okay? Mm-hmm. Which is why they're going to let some people walk like Todd Gurley, Mm-hmm. They have negative 24. They are $24 million over the cap, okay? Wow. It jumps to the Eagles at 2 from 24 million over the cap to 70 over the cap. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then the Saints are 95 over the cap.
Yeah. So are you
The
saying
Saints could cut. I think I saw something that the Saints could cut almost every single one of their stars, and they'd still be like 10 million over the cap.
wow. Yeah, the guy on TikTok. It was like, "Oh, could the Saints go 0-16?" Yeah, I did see him. Yeah.
They're gonna have to do something.
Yeah, it's because I think what the problem with the Saints is that they're paying veteran guys like Cam Jordan, Demario Davis big money for being over 30, and
I think they almost tried to pull the Rams.
Well, the Rams fixed their cap issues.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying that one year they're like, okay, we're just gonna pay people and we're gonna try to go to Super Bowl, and they still could. I don't think they will, but I think they still could.
The Saints have a better chance than they do.
But I think the interesting thing about that is the Saints paid some bad contracts.
Oh yeah.
You signed Jameis Winston, who I actually think Jameis Winston could still be a decent quarterback in the NFL with the right system.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually excited to see him play with New Orleans, but he never did.
Mm-hmm.
But then you sign Jameis, and then you go out and sign Taysom Hill to starting quarterback money. So you have you have 2 starting quarterback contracts and 1 backup, but a backup quarterback is still a big contract.
That's very true, and they're not going to have any money to sign any good free agents. They're all going to have to work either with trading or in the draft.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting because they're going to have to start rebuilding very soon.
Oh, yeah, and the Eagles need to let Wentz walk immediately, and they need to trade him so they can dump off all that salary.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just wondering who is going to trade for Wentz and take on that contract.
They could do what they did, what the Bears and the Jags did with Nick Foles. I don't know if you knew what they did, but
yeah, they traded him, then reconstructed his contract, and then But the other thing about it though is the Jaguars reconstructed it and then ate some money. That's how bad Nick Foles was for them. They ended up eating some cap issues. So the Eagles are going to have to decide, okay, if we can get Wentz, now, again, he played horrible this season. We all know this. But he was at one point an MVP candidate, right? So if you can get Wentz gone for like a 4th or 5th round pick, you're still going to have to eat money.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to get rid of Wentz. It's a duh. He's way too much. But they're going to be a bad team for a couple of years.
Where could you see Wentz going?
Indianapolis, big one. I've heard some people shoot that down. If they just cut him or if they trade him.
Okay.
Which one? I'm saying which one. Those are 2 different things.
If you cut him, his NFL career is most likely.
No, I think people sign him.
Yeah, some people will sign him as a backup to a minimum, but if they trade him, they're
listen, Carson has that MVP candidate status on his resume. Mm-hmm. So some teams could really, if they cut him, could sign him to a cheap deal. Mm-hmm. New England, Washington, Indianapolis,
I'm a fan.
Jacksonville.
I'm a fan, and I don't want him. I'll take Alex Smith all day.
I think a lot of people would.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, so we're going to end the video off right here, guys. Just wanted to say thank you for watching us. Like I said, Dylan is actually going to be starting his own podcast soon, by the way, on sports. I will have the link in the description for him for him being a part of it. And, yeah, if you guys want to see Dylan on here more, like and view. And, yeah, thank you guys for watching.